Thank you for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. I am music producer Achickwitbeatz.
And I'm entrepreneur Breezy Gipson.
And we're glad that you've joined us once again. We got another show that's just full of music industry news, so many different things going on all over the place. And, we take the cream of the crop to share with you and keep you updated. And of course, we got to send a huge shout out and thank you to our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes. Both of
them. Yeah. And of course, I forgot to mention, but you should already know there will be beats by yours truly sprinkled in throughout. And of course, anything that you're feeling, reach out, let me know with achickwitbeatz.com. And, we got a lot of whole, music business topics to discuss. And since you handle the business stuff, let them know where they can reach you at.
Oh, yeah. Reach me at Breeze Above. That's BREEZE. And the word above.now.site. Got all kinds of great tools for you as musicians on growing your music career and things of that nature. So yeah, check me out. breezeabove.now.site. And hey, you got one of the most intelligent, far-reaching music producers right here yourself to the listeners and artists, and that's the one and only Achickwitbeatz. So visit her at achickwitbeatz.com. She's got all kinds of tools there for the musician, the artist, and counseling and things of that nature, beats and all kinds of things. And so they reach out to her at achickwitbeatz.com.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So without any further ado, we're just going to go ahead and dive right on in. How about it?
How about it?
Let's go.
Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson on the Music Marvels Radio Fam, this is Breezy Gipson from the Breeze team. How would you like to see an online platform that brings you people who've already indicated that they're interested in your particular type of business? Whether it's your music you're selling, hip-hop clothing, you got a restaurant or cafe, or if you're an entrepreneur or agent for a business. Visit me at breeze2cheese.com. That's using the number 2, breeze2cheese.com, or click my bio link on my Instagram profile to see a live demo of how this can help you get more customers and make more money.
Hey, this is Achickwitbeatz. I am a multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit my website, Achickwitbeatz.com, for resources for artists and instrumentals available in various genres for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's Achickwitbeatz.com, ACHICKWITBEATZ. Let's make something happen. All right, we're back with music industry news. Man, just in case you hadn't heard, but apparently there was this big bombshell report in Sweden that says that multiple criminal gang members confirmed that they've used Spotify for money laundering.
You know what?
Yeah.
being in Atlanta with that court case, that trial that's been going on all along, you know, with some folks in the music industry. You know, this right here, man.
You mean the Rico with Young Thug?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now these folks right here, oh my God, been using Spotify to launder money for years.
Yes, for years. So according to the Swedish newspaper Svenska Dagbladet, I believe, crime networks linked to drugs and deadly violence have used Spotify to launder money for years and years and years. And they say that after converting proceeds from the criminal activities into Bitcoin, and they use these cash in hand deals with crypto traders that they meet on Facebook, they then use that crypto to acquire fake streams for artists that are linked to the gangs and collect the money paid for those streams. So you basically got like this whole Swedish mafia thing happening, and they're using Spotify and Facebook to do this. But yeah, the newspaper, just in case you're wondering, like, I wonder how legit this is, the newspaper actually cites protected sources, which include 4 criminal gang members themselves based in Sweden and an anonymous police agent who's investigating.
You know, let's let this play out.
Yeah. So it just kind of makes you wonder, yeah, they might have cracked this in Sweden, but where else has it been happening? Is anybody else close to exposing something else like this? You know, I don't know. It brings up a lot of questions, but hey, definitely something to be aware of. And, you know, we keep talking about how this streaming model kind of needs to change, and this is more proof of that. All right, BMG revenues are up 11.5% from the previous year in the first half of 2023. So they hit $447 million. And the new interim report from the parent company, Bertelsmann, reveals that over half of that, so $235.2 million, was generated in the United States, followed by 53.1 million in Germany, 45.5 in the UK, 31.4 million in France, and 45.5 million in other European countries, with 35.8 million generated in the rest of the world outside of the other areas. So it's just been kind of interesting to see like the breakdown of where the money's actually coming from. You know, hey, some hints in there about where you might want to kind of focus your efforts if you're looking to become global and, you know, bigger than wherever you are in the world.
Yeah. Okay, so, you know, another case why these articles are very, very important. Music industry news really can open a lot of folks' eyes and lead them in some positive directions for themselves, at least on the awareness tip. So, hey, let's go.
All right. Onyx Record Press opened a new vinyl pressing plant in the LA area geared towards getting more music by independent artists onto LPs. So, you know, everybody knows that with all the troubles that went on, like with some of the equipment needed for pressing vinyl. Like there's been a huge delay for artists to get their music, or they have fans excited about it, and then there's these big time gaps between when they can actually deliver the product. And so Onyx is kind of stepping in to try to ease that pain point for us independent artists. And so they say that they're trying to do that at affordable rates, which is really important as well, and reasonable wait times. So it's a 9,000 square foot facility that features the Phoenix Alpha 8012 machines. And according to the members, it's the latest in vinyl automation and the newest technology available for pressing vinyl. And so, hey, if you're open to trying it, hit us up, let us know what you think. Of course, we'll share more information as we get it, but anything that's going to help kind of alleviate some of these pain points around getting your music on vinyl is always a good thing. So I'm excited to hear about this.
Yeah. The world goes round and round we go, round and round we go. So here we go with this, and I dig into it.
Yeah. All right, and the U.S. Copyright Office has identified 4 key topics because they've opened a public consultation on artificial intelligence. So if you're one of those passionate people that have, chimed in with your thoughts about it and what you think needs to happen, now's your time to actually speak your piece. So they're inviting interested parties to submit their opinions and positions. Since they've identified the 4 main topics for debate, it would probably behoove you to kind of stick to what they've outlined, but you can even give more specific answers to more specific questions if you want. Written comments are due October 18th, and all replies must be turned in by November 15th. But hey, if you got something to say about it, reach out to the U.S. Copyright Office. Right there on the website, it'll tell you what you need to do.
Yeah, that's right. This whole thing about letting others make the decisions for you. Hey, you got an opening there for your input, so take advantage of it if you got any input.
Absolutely.
Don't be the one that says, that's complaining about it after the fact when the door was open for you to step in and you didn't do that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll say that personally, if you've ever chimed in on any of my posts about AI and music, this is you. You need to actually say something, because this is where, the rubber meets the road, if you will, because we're talking about who's actually responsible for the copyright. And so if your voice is going to be used to, generate models, your music's going to be used for this, then yeah, you should receive some compensation. So yeah, you can comment all you want. There's only so much that I can do, but yeah, definitely hit the website and make your thoughts known.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ASCAP got a little catty with BMI with the whole for-profit switch and sale talks. So one of the main things that they said was, we pay songwriters, not shareholders. So we shared with you maybe a few weeks ago, and before that, a couple months, about BMI switching to for-profit because they're looking to get purchased. Rumor has it, New Mountain is supposed to be purchasing BMI for about $1.7 billion, but it has yet to be confirmed. So, even though it probably is likely, we can't say for certain, but ASCAP did not take that. They still use the opportunity to basically make numerous posts on Instagram and X rebuking BMI for what they're doing. So, a couple of the quotes: ASCAP, not for profit since 1914 and still going strong. Another quote: private equity never wrote an iconic love song. Another one: ASCAP, creators first, not for profit, not for sale. I mean, it just goes on and on. So one music executive called it genius, while another said it was cheap, tacky, and childish. Regardless of where you fit on the spectrum of what they did, it definitely is a topic for debate. Is BMI actually going to be looking out for the people who supply the art, or for the shareholders? And you can kind of hear the answer to that within that question. But yeah, regardless of how you feel about it, it's definitely something that needs to be discussed. Not sure that was the classiest way to handle it, but they got a point.
Yeah. They do have a point.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, in the US, we also have CSAC. People tend to leave them out a lot, but it's another pro that's available too. So it's not just those two here in the US.
All right.
All right. And this one I thought was kind of an interesting take. I'd recommend that you check it out. But Rolling Stone had posted a report about how teasing tunes on TikTok has been kind of messing over songwriters. So in recent years, some of the music industry's most respected and successful hitmakers have had songs that they say have been left unsalvageable and virtually impossible to pitch anywhere else if they didn't go viral enough for the artists and labels to want to release them. So imagine this. I don't know. Let's say you were able to pin a hit song. You somehow got it to Beyonce and she decides to tease it on TikTok. It might be a bad example because it's not like she has to do that. But let's just say that that's what happened. And like fans didn't react to it. It didn't take off. It wasn't being reshared. And then so she says, no, never mind. I'm not going to use it. But the post was already out there on TikTok. So now you go to pitch it to someone else. I'll say Ashanti. And so Ashanti's like, you know what? I do like this song, but she decides to Google it and then sees where Beyonce had shared it, but it didn't get any traction. So now Ashanti comes back to you and says, no, thanks. I think I'm going to pass. This has been happening to a lot of songwriters over recent years since this trend has been going on. So it's kind of now making people take a look at the process and saying, hey, we as songwriters, what can we do to make sure that we're not burned by this? Because it doesn't mean it's a bad song just because it didn't go viral immediately. We know that there's so many different factors that play into it. The time that you post it, who they show it to with the various algorithms and whatnot. So there's so many other factors that can impact that. And it's really kind of messing up the ecosystem for songwriters. What do you think about that?
Well, my input on that is really kind of counterpoint, because I'm going to veer off to sports, for example. Okay, basketball, baseball, especially. Not so much football, but baseball really in the last few years has been taken over by in baseball management by the use of analytics. What's the chance of you getting up to bat, and getting a hit, or getting to first base, or striking out, or this, that, the other, in different situations? And so many of the managers in baseball, in Major League Baseball, they're using these analytics to run the game. Okay, and but at the end of the day, some of these analytics are right on point, but some of the analytics are just totally off no pun intended, totally off base. Right? And so there's a pushback in that going on right now, saying that with other managers, hey, well, I'm not using analytics totally to run my team. I don't care what X manager does, or this guy over here, that lady over there. I don't care what they do. To me, I'm going by what I see instead of what's on paper. Okay, so like with this, I fast forward to just the fact that there are artists all over the place all the time reissuing songs that have been hit songs a long time ago, songs that weren't hit songs a long time ago. Okay, so that goes to say, what somebody's junk actually can be somebody else's treasure. Okay, so if they want to use the analytics, with the tease, there's still going to be folks out there that want to reissue songs that they feel that their heart feels that song, and that they can put their heart into it, maybe change it up, speed it up, or slow it down, whatever. So see, there's two sides of each coin, and so some of the songwriters are saying that's screwing them up, but then what if the same songwriter says it's screwing them up, and then an artist comes and say, hey, I saw that it wasn't successful on the tease, but I want to talk to you about recording that song anyway. See?
Now, see, yeah, we need more brave artists like that.
Yeah.
So many people are chasing the trends that, that's exactly what we need. Yeah.
It's like baseball. There's managers that say, I don't care what those analytics say about what's the likelihood of him getting a hit now or striking out now or this, that, the other. I'm coaching this baseball team by what I know, from what I've experienced for the last 15 years, and this is what I want. Bump what the analytics say. So that's just an example. You never know.
Yeah, that's very true. And great analogy, because you can see by these companies that we keep sharing, like whose catalogs they're buying, that there's value in music that actually means something. While it's so tempting to use all these analytics that we have at our fingertips, to try to get a guaranteed hit, that's caused like some of the essence to be kind of watered down, and that's why people are revolting and basically choosing what they want to hear. So yeah, very, very good analysis. And yeah, I hope that we have more music artists that are willing to be like those.
Well, I'll be thinking about the same news story the next time I hear a reissue where an artist from today decides to go back and find something from a long, long time ago, and they want to get permission to re-record it, and whether it was a hot song or whether it was a dud, if they find somewhere in their spirit that fits them and they want to record it, then
Look at what happened with Tracy Chapman and I believe it was Luke Combs. When did the Fast Car, and then all of a sudden, she finally got some accolades because she did this song back then, and it was popular in its time, but it grew to new heights because it's found a new audience through someone else. So that's a really, really great point. You never do know.
You never know.
All right, Texas Music Office has launched Texas Music Incubator Rebate Program. The $20.2 million funded program will provide qualifying Texas music venues and festival promoters a full or partial rebate of certain taxes to help support the live music industry across the state. So the first round of applications is open now through November 30th. So, hey, if you're in Texas and you want to put something together, now's a good time to try that.
Yeah, well, my input to that is, when these opportunities come out, they need to jump on. Mm-hmm. Why am I saying that? Is because it's documented and noted that sometimes these opportunities come up, and then the rich and powerful, they jump at it. Yeah. And next thing you know, all of the money's gone because the rich and the powerful used it up. Mm-hmm. And somebody, the small guy on the street, whatever, when they reach out, all the money's gone. Okay, so when opportunities like this come up, investigate them. If that fits you, jump on them, with a quickness. And that way, hey, that way you don't get left out.
Right. Yeah, we saw that happen with resources for artists during the pandemic. So yeah, like you said, if you're interested, you better jump on it
with a quickness. Yeah.
All right, Timothy Xu, who's a former Sony music boss in China, was named the CEO and chairman of Universal Music Greater China. So as the chairman and CEO of Greater China for Sony Music from 2012 to 2016, he oversaw activities in mainland China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Vietnam. And he later joined Taihe Music Group and was named president and CEO in 2018. And now that company claims to have the world's largest market share in Chinese music. So it looks like anything he touches just continues to grow. And of course, they're going to be looking at some of those same regions that he was serving when he was working with Sony Music. And so what does this mean? The fact that this is another one of those markets that we keep talking about. It's not even really emerging anymore. Like, it's just huge and it's still growing. And so, yeah, you can pay attention to where some of these major labels are focusing their time and attention and, making sure that they get the best of the best to oversee what they're working on over there.
Yeah. Hey, roll with it.
Yeah. Another connection that was made, Warner Music Group and Elliot Grange's 10K projects have entered a joint venture. And so they're bringing the roster and the team to function as a standalone label within the Warner Music ecosystem. So reportedly, Warner will own just over 50% of 10K projects, while Grange is going to maintain almost half the company. But Music Business Worldwide classifies this as Warner's most significant label equity acquisition since it fully acquired 300 Entertainment for $400 million in cash back in December of 2021. So, it's been a while since they made a purchase of this size. However, at least the founder is still going to keep a good portion of it, but they will be the majority owner. And so, once again, something else to pay attention to. If these major labels are seeing what some of these smaller labels are doing and they want a part of it, and the best way to do that, buy it up. Sounds like you have a cautionary tale.
Well, I'm as long as it was amicable, because the folks that got bought out, maybe they're happy about it and so on and so forth and satisfied and everything. Okay, both sides agree with each other. But if it was a hostile takeover,
Oh, yeah, no, it was not hostile at all. 300 Entertainment jumped at that $400 million in cash.
Okay, gotcha.
But to that point, I see what you mean, because it's like maybe they could have taken the cash and still maintained some equity, possibly. I can't really say that for certain since they're not divulging the specifics of how this one went down. But yeah, so I know a lot of fans were kind of sad when 300 got bought out, because it's like, okay, well, now it's just part of another major label, which is typically what happens. And then we've seen and even reported on sometimes where it goes the opposite way. All these labels keep buying up these smaller ones and then kind of making them adapt to, their main way of doing things. And then they find out that the fans aren't necessarily as connected. So then they want to go back to that small label experience. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, the fact that Grange is going to maintain almost half of the company, that's noteworthy. But that key word being almost half, key phrase.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not the majority.
Right.
Right. They were very careful with how they worded that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so in other words, who's got the power?
Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that means they could definitely overrule his vote.
Yeah.
All right. Taylor Swift. Seems like she's always in the music news for something. And this time it's because her concert film generated a record-breaking advance sales tickets for AMC. And so they reported that ticket sales for the concert film that documents her Eras tour grossed $26 million in 3 hours. 3 hours. And so this shattered the record for single day advance ticket sales that were previously held by Spider-Man No Way Home, which earned $16.9 million in a single day. It earned less in a single day than what she brought in just 3 hours.
Well, my accolades go out to Taylor Swift because she and her crew, over the years, they've zeroed in on their true niche, and their niche market, those young kids. Okay, so when you think about it, how many other artists out there got their teenage and less than teenage girls, mommy, daddy, I want to go. all over the world.
But
Mama. Okay.
yeah.
Boom. That's their niche. Is there's kids everywhere. They're crazy about her. They've zoned in on that niche. And I don't believe they're gonna, I mean, okay, you might as well say it's a sports analogy. I hear all the time, or that is said all the time. In these games and whatever, you get that other person down and hold them down, hold them down, put your foot on their neck until the game's over. That's said all the time in sports. So she's not putting her foot on the kid's neck or anything like that. It's completely opposite. The kids love that. So
Wait.
Go ahead.
You know what's interesting though is for the amount of time that she's been out, those kids are now grown and taking their kids.
Yeah.
So she's kind of spanned generations at this point.
Yeah.
So it's not just the teenagers. Moms are wanting to go. Teenagers been listening to mom play Taylor Swift all of her life, pretty much. And so, yeah. So like this time frame, I mean, she's been in the game for a while now. And the fact that she's been able to, kind of bridge the generational gap has been just incredible. And you're right, that team has not let up.
No.
And, hey, more power to her.
Man, I mean, 26 million in 3 hours.
3 hours.
Mm.
So, I mean, with that being said, yes, as Taylor Swift, biggest pop star on the planet right now, I believe. And I'm not exaggerating. We're talking just, gross and whatnot. But, I mean, this could still, maybe not necessarily to that same level, but this could still kind of signify that fans want to have a connection to artists that they enjoy. So this is also meaning, the tour itself grossed a lot, but this is just the concert film the film that's talking about the concert tour. So they're showing backgrounds, and this is how much people were willing to spend. AMC actually had to do multiple showings just a day just to be able to keep up with the demand. So you can take a note from Taylor Swift book, because that's one thing that she always does, is make sure that she's connecting with her fans. She doesn't just put the music out, but does stuff to make them feel involved. And so, that's something every artist can kind of take note of and try to mimic in your own way. So yeah, no, it doesn't mean that you got to sell out AMC, but you can do different things to kind of help your fans feel more connected to you, which can eventually mean more money, right?
Yeah. I mean, in sports, when you're I keep bringing sports up. So you're involved in the game, whether it's a small time game or a big time game, whatever. So there are athletes that when that game is over, they just run off the field, gone in the locker room, never to be seen again until the next game. But then on the other hand, there are other athletes that actually walk up to the railings where the fans are sitting and shake hands, and walk all the way around the stadium, got their hand out, and fans are running down there. Okay, I mean that can bring about purchases of jerseys, hats, all kinds of stuff, that identify that fan, that fan wants to identify with that person, that athlete, because of the kindness that they showed to come out there and shake their hand or give them a high five or whatever, instead of just leaving the field going on in the locker room. So
Absolutely.
You never know.
Excellent analogy.
Yeah. Or same with a musician. When there's some crazies out there, but when you take the time, you're walking out and there's a crew of people out there waiting. Okay, you can just dash on out through the crowd and just jump in a limo and be gone. Or you can stand there and sign a few autographs and build that camaraderie and whatever. And that camaraderie goes a long way.
It does. There's actually been times that I've bought albums at shows just because I wanted the autograph of whoever I just saw get off the stage.
Wow. Yeah.
Just never heard of them before going to the show. Like
Yeah.
they rocked it so well. It's like, you know what? I want to capture this moment in time.
Yeah.
Let me grab this. But if he just had somebody else working the merch table and wasn't there, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Wow.
Yeah. Great analogies.
Good point. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, SM Entertainment has partnered with RCA Records on a new K-pop group called Rise, and their debut single surpassed 1 million physical pre-orders. Physical pre-orders. I feel the need to stress that. So what, we were just talking about this. So these fans are so excited that they want the hard copy. And, you know, everybody keeps having these reports about like what's doing numbers, and you know, with more people going for vinyl, people are still buying CDs and cassettes for that matter. So yeah, it's not a dead medium. Obviously people want it, but this whole scenario, SM says that it's a rare occurrence for a K-pop group to sign with the US major record label before actually making their debut. But they did this, and they actually made their live on stage debut at the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles last month. And so this kind of aligns with what SM and Kakao Entertainment, which is the main stakeholder in SM now, but it's their strategy to try to gain traction in the world's largest music market, which is the US for now. I would not be surprised if that changed in the very near future with the way things are going globally. But yeah, it seems like their plan is working to get 1 million physical pre-orders. That's just, yeah. That's not an easy feat, but it does show you some trends that could be happening and how things might be shifting a little bit.
Yes, and if that continues, then it won't be a rare occurrence. It'll be all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Final story of the week that is just huge. Universal Music Group and Deezer have are launching the first comprehensive artist-centric music streaming model. So they use their respective deep data analysis to develop the artist-centric model for a fair allocation of streaming revenue that actually reflects the true value of the artist and fan relationships that we were just talking about. But they're going to be launching the model in France in the fourth quarter of this year, and it'll roll out to additional markets later. So first of all, you know, we've been talking about how they've been working and trying to develop this. I mean, it was just report after report that I believe I got emails probably weekly talking about Universal working to develop this with streaming services. And so, yeah, I thought this was going to be a lot farther off than it actually is. And so I'm excited that this is happening sooner, because this definitely needs to be adopted. We've been talking before about how the pro rata system works. All the money gets thrown into a pool, and you know, somebody else gets the money based on percentages, and it's a mess. And so I'm really excited to see how this works out. It turns out I really, really want something similar to be adopted by these major companies that are here in the US and other places, hint Spotify, U2. But yeah, it's about time that if somebody plays your music, you should get paid for that stream. It shouldn't just get thrown in with everywhere else to where you've got people using it to launder money and all that. This would kind of alleviate that as an issue. And so I'm really excited, and I'm glad that I was wrong about the length of time that it would take for it to come to fruition.
Wow. Right. That old analogy, Superman faster than a speeding bullet, from decades ago. Okay, here we go. You just never know, and how diverse and how rapid different ideas take hold.
Yeah.
You never know.
For
so
sure.
There you go again. I keep saying this, you could be the one on the street. You could be the person just starting out in the music industry or any other industry, but specifically the music industry. And you can come up with an idea. So there's a train of thought saying that, when one of the worst things that can possibly happen in any regard is when a person comes up with an idea and someone else they downplay it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. So when y'all come up with those ideas, push them forward.
Right.
Right.
Because you never know. And yeah, if you constantly around people that always have to have the negative side or see the negative way of things going, it might be time to adjust the circle.
Yeah. What that phrase? Hey, one woman's junk is another woman's treasure. One man's junk is another man's treasure. So you come up with the idea and you feel that's it, that's the one, then you gotta push it. Don't just allow it to just sit on the sideline and gather dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for sharing us with your friends as well. We thank our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. And, I'm already looking forward to next week.
Yeah. You never know. Reached out to a gentleman that we know from way back, saxophonist Stephen Charles. Okay. Mm-hmm. And how he's eager about coming back and sharing with his latest, working on his website right now and sprucing it up. So hopefully that'll get done soon. And shout out to the one and only Al Burrows.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, his name precedes him out there in LA doing his thing. So shout out to you and to all of our other listeners and to our supporting media outlets. Hey.
Yeah, definitely.
You are appreciated.
Much appreciated. All right. Until next time, you know where to find us. Tune in, tell a friend. We'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.